Hello YouTube, Tim here, and I've got two Mirkwood bows that I'm working on. The first one I already decorated, and you can see the leaf and vine pattern up the front and back of the limbs. Basically, I make a swirl or a leaf, a vine in one way, and then another way, and alternating as I vine up the limb. At the confluence of two of the swirls, the vines, I put a leaf usually. Sometimes up, sometimes down, sometimes big, sometimes little. And then I color in the leaves, sometimes the upper half, sometimes the bottom half. Usually then I put a dot at the end of each leaf. I think it looks nice. At any rate, we have here one more that has yet to be decorated. Check out that nice finish there. Looks very, very wood-like, very pleasant. I really, really like it. And it needs a little decoration now. So here is where the handle wrap ends and where the decoration begins. Usually I'll start a little bit lower than that. First thing, I at least start with paint pens. Then I'll go over them to sharpen some of the details with actual brushes. But just to start, the paint pens are great. First thing was shake it, and then you gotta push down on a piece of paper. Here's an envelope that I won't need. So let's use that. Although, as you can see here maybe, I was pushing down on the handle itself just to get it flowing. And that works. One of the problems that I've noticed is that as these things age, they don't tend to flow as well. They either are gushing or not at all. So there, got some. And let's start here. I usually start at the side closest to me. And then I will start with a transverse vine curling inward towards the handle. Like so. Okay? Then, like I said, now I curl upwards away from the handle. Start like so. Rotate the bow as needed. Let me go back and fill it in a little bit more. See, look at that. It's enough to gush out and form a little puddle here, but it's not enough to continue flowing. When I first started with this paint pen, that didn't happen. So now it's running out even in the middle of a stroke. That's very inconvenient. Although, you know, we'll make do. So there's one stroke, two strokes. Sometimes I'll make a stroke like this, make it shorter and more downward angled. Just depends on how I'm trying to fill the space. But it works. No matter what you want, just go with it and make nice flowing vines. That one will end on the corner. Just thicken that up a little bit with another. Good. See, going very well. Usually I try and end the third time, so once, twice, 2 full times around is what I aim for. This time this time I was going all the way around, this time a little less. Just try and vary the pattern, otherwise it gets monotonous, and if you want a more repetitious pattern, fine, that's fine, nothing wrong with that. I just like a little bit more variety. To me, it makes it feel more organic. So in between strokes, you can see I'm going down here to depress it again. Sometimes then roll it, and a lot of ink will come off. You don't want it usually pooling too much on the bow itself. In this case, I want a nice, robust line. See, what I did right there was I didn't push on the tip. I wasn't squeezing any more out. What I wanted to happen was to pick up some of the ink that I left behind there. when quite a lot comes off, you can go back and sort of gather it. Like I said, it's not flowing as it once was when this was a brand new pen. If you really wanted to keep them in best condition, yeah, I'd use them maybe 3-4 times and then pitch it, because really it doesn't seem to survive much more than that. Okay, I'm going to call that one the final vine. Sometimes at the terminus, what I'll do is I'll create another little upward twirl. It's just to fork it. You see that? A fork or a T. And now, let's fill in some leaves. So, for that, there's one, like so. Dot at the end. So at the end of the leaves, I'll do that too. And then I want a vine or a leaf here. What do you think? Like so? Look good? Okay, let's continue. Like I said, some big, some small, some bold, some very fine, a whole bunch of different kinds of leaves, but all pretty much the same style. I'm doing single lobe leaves. Usually trying to gracefully curl the ends as best I can. Nice. Sometimes I'll do leaves on both sides, where normally I would only do it on the side where, see, it faces outward, where the confluence is on that side. Normally I'd just do one over here, but sometimes, just in the interest of filling space, to make it look a little bit more organic, I'll do it on both sides. With a paint pen, it's really hard to get the tips to be very pointy. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes not. So what you can do is go and clean it up with a paint marker, or later use the brush like I was saying. That's a great way to finish it off. Now, one thing you do have to be careful of is rubbing the design off, the actual finish. I had finished the bow, and then I went ahead and I put on several coats of clear coat. So it's pretty good right now. If I hadn't done that, it's possible that if I rub it too much, I can pull the finish right off. So to help prevent that, the clear coat helps a lot. Then I just let it cure overnight. Great. We haven't even flipped it over for the other side yet. Just one more second, we can do that too. See how it looks just sort of naked? To fill that out if you want to, create a few extra vines. But at least usually wait a few seconds until you add the leaves, because that'll show you a different sort of character to it. It'll give you a better idea of what it'll look like when it's all finished. Great. Okay, that looks good. Now likewise here. You're not supposed to shake it without the cap on, because it can just fling paint, but if you're careful, it shouldn't be too big of an issue. And if you need paint to flow, a lot of the time you'll notice it building up right around the edges. So if you just, instead of painting top down like this, edge it from the side, and you can usually get more ink to flow. That's really all there is to it. Since this area is a little open, I'm gonna create one non-attached vine right there. See if we can't pick up a little bit of ink and fill that in. With a little modest leaf. Okay. That is all there is to it. That's all I do. I think the results are pretty darn nice. It's not perfect, but what in this world is? Like I say though, try doing it with fresh paint pens, and I think you'll be very pleased at the results. The older the paint pens, the harder they are to use, and eventually I would probably just go ahead and discard them in favor of new ones. There you go. So I'm going to do the other limb exactly the same, and we'll call that a finished bow as soon as that's all decorated. Thanks for watching, YouTube.